We have talked about it countless times that with the rebuilding Blue Jays and with all these young guys on the roster, this team is going through the whole transition phase. We all know this. And with a very young team, as this team is, and they will continue to get younger post-trade deadline, you're going to have some bad games. Like losing 5-0 to the Red Sox yesterday and getting 2 measly hits. But then you're going to have some awesome games. Like today, the very next day, the Jays score 12 runs on 15 hits. Now, ideally, you're not facing Chris Sale and Boston. I know Boston's not having a great season. I get that, but they are still the Red Sox. They still have that great offense, and you still faced Chris Sale. You're facing the Detroit Tigers, the worst team in baseball as of today, because the Baltimore Orioles beat the Red Sox, clobbered the Red Sox there tonight. So the Detroit Tigers are lone rangers there in the basement of the big leagues. Now, what I've learned with this Blue Jays team is when they face teams that aren't very good at all, like the Orioles, like the Royals, like these guys, the Detroit Tigers, the Jays are pretty damn good, and that tells you where they stand right now, all right? And this game, it was out of hand pretty early on. You know, it was started off in the very first batter of the ball game. Eric Sogard, who has led the charge all year, he gets a double to lead off the ball game. Great job. Then Freddie Galvis rolls over on a pitch, but pulls it as he was hoping to, moving Eric Sogard over to third base with 1 out for Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Now on a wild pitch by Jordan Zimmerman, Eric Sogard comes home to score, and the Blue Jays have an early 1-0 lead. You go to the top of the second inning. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He singled to left field, but it was a ball down and almost in the dirt. He looked like his father on that swing. Reaching, looked awful, but found a way to get a base hit out of it into left field for Vladdy. Next up, Kevin Biggio rips the ball into right field for a single for him. Vladdy moves up to third base on the play. And then next up, Danny Jansen grounds to third. And they try to turn the double play. Danny Jansen beats it out. And the run comes in. The Blue Jays lead it now 2-0. All right, so you got the early lead. Things are going good. Now, this is when the game just starts blowing wide open, the top of the fourth. And who does it start with? Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He hits a ball, again, not a very hard hit ball, but it has eyes. It was hit to the third baseman, in between the third baseman and shortstop. It hits off the third baseman's glove, and it goes into left field for a base hit for Vladdy. He's 2 for 2. Then Biggio, doing what he does best. Walks next, and then that means there's 2 on and nobody out. You want to capitalize, and Danny Jansen strikes out. Then in a wild pitch by Zimmerman, that's a tough call for me. You know, if you guys watched that game and you saw that wild pitch by Jordan Zimmerman, if I'm not mistaken, that was just because the catcher couldn't catch the ball. Now, that could have been a wild pitch later in the game or whatnot, but he tried to pick it instead of getting on to block it. And instead, both runners move up. Then Billy McKinney comes up. He walks in a full count. The bases are loaded. We've talked about it. You got to capitalize on other teams' mistakes. They threw a wild pitch. They walked the batter. Now it comes up Teoscar Hernandez, and he gets a little chopper through the middle for a base hit. Vladdy scores. Biggio to third, McKinney to second. Bases still loaded now. It's 3-0 Blue Jays. Next up, Eric Sogard. He singles to right field. Biggio comes in. McKinney comes in. It's a 5-0 Jays lead. Next up, Freddie Galvis. He singles to right field. Hernandez comes in to score. Sogard up to second. And that's that there. Then Gurriel Jr. lines out. Then Smokey walks. The bases are still loaded. And then Vladdy flies out to end the inning. But they bat around in the inning. And Vladdy's got a couple hits. Now, ideally, you still haven't seen him square one up yet, and that's what we were kind of waiting for up until this point. But the Jays, they got a 6-0 lead. They're feeling great early on. Marcus Stroman's on the mound, just doing his thing. Then you go to the top of the 6th, and the Jays aren't done yet. It starts off with a Teoscar Hernandez bomb, and this was an absolute laser beam rocket off the bat of Teoscar Hernandez. It was an 0-1 pitch, and I think it was a hanger from what's his name here? I'm gonna try and find him. Where was he? Where did he come into the ball game here? Reininger? Something like that. But it was a laser beam off the bat of Teoscar Hernandez into the seats, making it a 7-0 Jays lead. Then Eric Sogard strikes out, but then Freddie Galvis doubles to right field. Then Gurriel Jr. hits a single up the middle. Galvis comes in. It's 8-0 Blue Jays. Next up, Smokey, he walks. Gurriel up to second. They bring in another pitcher. Next up, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Now, we have not seen Vladdy hit mistakes yet. We haven't seen that. But on this at bat, he hits a really hard hit ball through the left side in between third and short and into left field for a base hit. Gurriel Jr. comes in to score, and I think it's 9-0 up until this point. I could be losing count. Who the heck knows at this point? But that was a good sign by Vladdy, getting a good piece there and driving it. You know, that's what we want to see, is him driving the ball. Not a little chopper, not a pop-up, driving the ball. And that's what you saw there on that at-bat. It was an RBI single, Vladdy's third hit in the ball game. Great to see him get going a little bit here. And then, on a stupid error from the left fielder, Smokey moves up and Vladdy moves up. This is what we're seeing, guys. This is what happens when you go through a tight rebuild. You see stuff like that. And for Jays fans, you can look at that game and say, we haven't really seen much of that this year. You're right. Because this team's not as bad. They're playing a lot better lately, and I'm liking what we're seeing. Right? And then Kevin Biggio then grounds out. But then Danny Jansen, the funny thing about this whole Danny Jansen situation, you see him early in the ballgame, he's kind of got like a mustache going on here. And we're all like, okay, that kind of looks a little weird. Reminds me of Russell Martin when he shaved his beard. Just looked a little odd, right? But then for that last at-bat there in that 6th inning, Danny Jansen he shaved it. He went in between innings and must have shaved off the mustache. And what does he do? You know, he signals to left field. 2 runs come in to score. And then Danny Jansen gets to first base. Is like, yeah, boys, that's what you love to see. You love to see superstitions actually work in baseball. It's so much fun to watch that kind of stuff. And great to see everyone chipping in now. Danny Jansen, like I said, with the hit in the ball game. Then Billy McKinney doing an amazing job of hustling it out. And that is just beautiful to watch. It's a chopper to first base. Usually it's just an automatic out. But Billy McKinney boogied. And the Tigers didn't, and he beats them out at first. Amazing job there by Billy McKinney. Now Teoscar Hernandez then grounds into a fielder's choice to end the inning. But the Blue Jays have capitalized. They got a ton of runs, and they're feeling awesome up until this point. They go to the top of the 7th inning, and we'll just go right to it quickly here. Justin Smoak with an RBI ground out, and then the bottom of the 8th with a lot of defensive indifferences and not really making a play, just getting outs. They get a run. Gordon Beckham hits an RBI ground out, and that's really all she wrote. But the story of the ball game is the offense, but you cannot forget Marcus Stroman. In possibly his last start as a Blue Jay, the trade deadline I think is 12 days away or something along those lines. We don't know what the future lies for Marcus Stroman. We all assume he's going to be traded, which I personally don't like, but that's not my choice. So the question is, did Marcus Stroman just throw his last game as a Toronto Blue Jay? And if he did, what a performance. 7 innings, 6 hits, no runs, did not walk a batter, and struck out 5, dropping his ERA, what is that, like 19 points or something, to 3.06. That is good for 4th best in the American League. If you trade him, you better get a good package back. They better get a good package. If not, you damn well sign him, which kind of looks like a long shot right now. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion on that, you guys. All right, so let's go through the stats here because there was tons of things to get through here. You guys ready for this? Rapid fire. Eric Sogard, 3 for 6, scored 2 runs, had a couple RBIs. Ooh, trade bait for Eric Sogard, and he's doing it. That's for damn sure. Freddie Galvis, possibly trade bait. I don't see it happening as much, but you never know. 3 for 5 with an RBI and a run scored for Freddie Galvis. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., 1 for 5 with an RBI and a run scored. So not the greatest night for Lourdes Gurriel. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr., like we talked about, a great night for him. 3 for 5 with 3 runs scored and an RBI. And for Vladdy, his batting average jumped 7 points to 245. Again, it was 238 going into the ball game, so it's great to see him get that little bit of a boost back up there. But he's got to get it continuous now. He's got to get on a roll. One game is nice, but you got to take that into the next game and continue to work on that. All right, Biggio 1 for 4 with a run scored and a walk. Danny Jansen 1 for 5, but he had 3 RBIs, the RBI the fielder's choice, and then the 2-run single he had as well. Danny Jansen, this guy's hitting .216 now. He's got a ton of RBIs lately. He's doing amazing. Billy McKinney 1 for 4 with a run scored and a walk, and Teoscar Hernandez in the 9th spot, 2 for 4 with a couple RBIs, the home run, 2 runs scored, and a walk to add to it. Teoscar Hernandez hitting .209 on the year now, and he's again over the last 4 games. One game it was a little rough, but over the last 4 games, Teoscar Hernandez has done really well. He's gotten 3 or 4 home runs in his last 4. I think it's 4 home runs in his last 4 games. He's been awesome. Now, can he continue it? That's the biggest question. Consistency. All right. Now, game 2, I guess, of the 3-game set against the Tigers there goes tomorrow evening. It's a 6:10 first pitch at Comerica Park. Trent Thornton and Daniel Norris are the starting pitchers there in tomorrow night's ball game. That video, guys, will be uploaded later than usual. It will be uploaded tomorrow, but later than we're used to, so just giving you guys the heads up right there. That's game 2 of the series. And then game 3, it says Ryan Brucke on here, but I heard today on Blue Jay Central and everything that he's going to be going in game 1 against Cleveland. So I don't know who's going to be pitching then on Sunday. Are they going to throw out Sean Reed Foley maybe? Because they optioned Thomas Pannone down. They brought up Wilmer Font. Unless it's a bullpen day. I don't know. We're going to have to see how it all plays out, though, in the finale on Sunday afternoon against the Tigers. But Jays fans, we're not going to go through the minor leagues because we're already at 11 and a half minutes. And I already looked through the minor leagues. Nate Pearson went in 3 1/3 innings, gave up 1 run, dropped his ERA like 7 spots. Bo Bichette was 1 for 4 with a run scored. And yeah, down in Bluefield, there was a 12-11 game or some stupid number like that. There wasn't anything too crazy to get to. Dunedin didn't even play. They rained out. So and Conine and Gabriel Moreno, they didn't have a great ball game. I think Moreno went 1 for 4, and Conine was 0 for 3 last time I looked, at least. So, we're not going to get into those guys right now. We're just going to enjoy this 12-1 victory by the Toronto Blue Jays because it's fun to talk about a win. It is. Then I miss it. But it was a lot more fun talking about a 12-1 win than a 5-0 loss when you have 2 hits. It's much easier to talk about. And I'm so happy the Blue Jays got the win today. And it was so nice to see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. get 3 hits and see these young guys continue to contribute and continue to grow as the year goes along. All right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoy the video and you guys enjoy this ball game. Smack the like button. Do appreciate that. And the subscribe button if you guys have not already. What was your thought on Marcus Stroman today? What are your thoughts on the future of Marcus Stroman? Do you think he will be a Blue Jay post-trade deadline? Do you think he's going to be a Blue Jay for the future? I don't know. I personally would love him to stay with this team. But that is up to Shapiro, Atkins, and Marcus Stroman's agent, which apparently is a pain in the rear. I've heard at least. I don't know if it's true, but we're gonna have to wait and see how it all plays out, guys. And if they do trade Marcus Stroman, if this was his last start as a Blue Jay, I just want to say thanks to Marcus Stroman for incredible moments. Drafted by this team, developed by this team, brought up with this team, and the 2015 playoff run, the 2016 playoff run, and all the amazing starts in between. Marcus Stroman was a dog. He bleeds Toronto. He bleeds Canada. And you know what? You got to respect that. And that's why I'm hoping he stays around. Not just because he's Canadian. He's an honorary Canadian, really. But he's an amazing ball player. He's got lots of energy. And this team can need that. This team can use that in the future. But if he's not in their plan, then hopefully who they get back is damn good. If, like I've said in previous videos, if you get some Chris Archer type of haul, then I'll be okay with it. But if you don't, there's going to be hell to pay. All right, so you know what, guys? I want to hear your guys' thoughts about Marcus Stroman and the whole trade deadline spiel because it's going to be coming up real fast here. I want to hear your guys' thoughts about everything towards this team, the trade deadline, the way the team played today. What are your thoughts on Vladdy there today? Do you think it was just lucky hits, which I think a couple of them were at least? But again, it all counts in the stats, right? Whether it's a blooper or whether it's a laser beam, it doesn't matter. It's one hit. Right? Whether you lose 12-1 or you lose 1-0, it's one loss. So, if you're looking at it that way, then Vladdy had a good ball game. He's 3 for 5. If you're looking at hard hit balls and good hits, maybe not the greatest. But you got to take positives. And what I've learned, quickly, guys, before I wrap this up, when it comes to younger players, when it comes to players in general that are cold, when you start hitting the ball hard and you start looking better, that's when things start to turn around. And I don't know if that's a sign for Vladdy today going 3 for 5. I don't know if that's a sign that he's going to break out of this slump. We're going to have to wait and see how it all plays out in the end. But it's good to see. All right, so guys, I want to hear your guys' thoughts about this team and everything towards it. And check out Blue Jays Wave on Instagram, Mo Buckets on Twitter. Great guys, awesome content. It was an awesome time doing the podcast yesterday with them. It's always been a lot of fun. Look, I think I've done it twice now with them, and it's a lot of fun doing it with them. They're great guys. They're really easy to talk to, and they talk about great stuff too. And obviously, talking about Blue Jays, it's always fun to talk about this team. All right, so guys, Twitter is down below. Follow up, send me a DM, guys. Do all that great stuff, and I will talk to you guys Jays Edition in Game 2 of the 3-game set against the Detroit Tigers. 6:10 first pitch at Comerica Park there tomorrow evening as the Blue Jays look to win the series against the Tigers. Trent Thornton, Daniel Norris is the pitching matchup there tomorrow evening. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Talk to you guys then.